I've been thinking about my deconstruction this morning. What is deconstruction really? If I look back, I probably wouldn't call it deconstruction anymore because I didn't. Yes, I did. I deconstructed older concepts, but really, along with the deconstruction, has come a massive expansion of awareness. So, on the one hand, I was deconstructing the three-dimensional concepts of Christianity, Christian theology, and dogma, while at the same time, this massive expansion happened in my conscious awareness where I was able to, I don't want to use the word conceptualize, but it's almost like we're like a hard drive, a flash drive, and old information gets it overwrites old information, and new information gets downloaded onto the drive, and it overwrites the old data. So in my case, and I'm hearing more and more that around the time of 2015, 2016, this a stream of energies or photon light has come into the earth since then, and it's been increasing ever since 2015. Incidentally, my deconstruction started. It was just starting in the summer of 2015. That was the summer before my dear mom passed away from cancer later on in the new year. But after the new year, things were slowly deconstructing. I began in my awareness. I began looking through the Bible, and I was really looking at the characteristics of the God of the Bible, or as it has been described and portrayed, and it was getting more and more contradictory. Of course, now you have to keep in mind that I was trying to understand with my mind, and our mind is always limited. Like it needs it's fact-based. It needs factual information. So when we deconstruct one layer, we kind of have to find another mental, logical layer to replace that with. So I was going through the Bible and finding all of these contradictions of God being light, but then he was dwelling in the darkness and things like that. And the concept of unconditional love, and yet God was threatening people with throwing them into hellfire and all that. At that time, and as it had been for 47 years of my life, I was just conceptualizing uh, facts, Bible facts, and it was beginning to no longer make sense. There was more and more contradictions stacking up in my mind that I could not wrap my mind around and make sense of. And so, one by one, the God of the Bible, the three-dimensional version of the God of the Bible, uh, was no longer working. And once the doctrine of eternal conscious punishment and hell was dismantled in my logic, in my mind, um, all the other stuff, all the other doctrines fell away, because when there is no more hell, there is no more salvation needed from this hell. So the entire Christian um, religion, the entire Christian faith just crumbled. The foundation just crumbled. And I had to let it all go. Many people, when they deconstruct, they'll just end up with a clean slate and they become atheists. They just no longer believe in a deity or a divine um, consciousness, a divine higher being or energy. They just deconstruct, take a bulldozer, and just get rid of all these concepts, because truly they really are only concepts. And I might make a video about the detailed deconstruction. Who knows? I don't know if it's important. Um, but yeah, coming back to the idea of concepts. And again, when we come into this world, we come uh, as a clean hard drive, and then we become programmed with all of these concepts. And it starts from within our mother's womb. I mentioned before that I had been, my mother was Roman Catholic, so my imprinting, my first imprinting on my hard drive was the Catholic religion, because of what my mom um, experienced, being a very devout Catholic. So that was the first thing that was written to my hard drive. And then you build on that. And then comes all the religious imagery. And if you're in the Western culture, that'll be a white Jesus with long hair and beard. See all those iconic pictures of him. All of those things are written very deeply at a subliminal level in our consciousness in our conscious awareness. So all of that is subliminally written to our subconscious mind, and we don't even know where it came from. So we are a type of avatar. Persona is built through artificial intelligence. We are really like a computer. And so deconstruction really is just defragging the hard drive, and sometimes even just reformatting the hard drive, wiping it completely clean to allow for new, not information so much, but new light, new photons to come in and widen and open up our field of awareness, conscious awareness. And like I said, it really changed for me, especially in the last 2 years, 2019, 2020, and 2021, and it's ongoing. Like the expansion just continues, sort of like the universe, it just keeps expanding. And I've gone completely away from the 3D concept of God and Jesus and heaven. They're not three-dimensional concepts for me anymore. I think of it very much in terms of, in scientific terms of vibration, frequency, and energy and sound, um, and God being a consciousness, um, of these scientific energetic characteristics. If a person wants God to be a fatherly type, that is comforting, that is okay. Every perception that we hold is okay and is acceptable for the level of maturity that we find ourselves in. I mean, just take in nature, for example, the natural progression. We're born, we're little babies, infants. We need a parent. We need father, mother to parent us, to care for us. But there comes a time in our natural life and in our spiritual life where we mature, we grow up, and you know, um, where we ourselves become a parent and have children. And so it's a continual progression where where you become a parent, you no longer need the parent. So it also changes in our perception, in our ability to perceive and become and to receive conscious awareness. So yeah, so if God for you is a big fatherly being that you envision that you can sit in his lap and be comforted, that is entirely okay. Um, but I would just say, just be careful with saying, absolutely, this is it. This is the only expression of who and what God is, because you can't put God in a three-dimensional box like that. It works because we're three-dimensional beings, people, humans. We need these three-dimensional concepts to relate to. But it's God, and I don't even like using that word anymore because it is framed in the three-dimensional concept. But God cannot be boxed into any solid concept, um, or formula. If He's as fluent as water, as fluent as energy, as fluent as sound, we can't even put a name on it. That's why in the Gnostic writings, they referred to him as the ineffable one. We cannot, God cannot be defined. So, anyways, I see this is going to be a rambling video, and I have too many thoughts coming in that I'm trying to express. But yeah, so back to my point, deconstruction. We can deconstruct and just leave it at that and stay in the three-dimensional reality, or we receive greater awareness. And I don't mean better, but a more expansive consciousness, expanding consciousness that can see beyond the three-dimensional material world, and you get into the etheric, esoteric, and spiritual, the unseen, metaphysical worlds, and there's levels to that. So it is ever expanding, and the more light that is coming into this earth, into the world, the more expansion will occur in the consciousness of people and Gaia as well. So yeah, that's just some random thoughts. I'm sorry it's so discombobulated, but I'll just put it out there. Maybe it'll spark something in someone. And yeah, it's quite the journey.